Chris Pontius. Chris, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
How you doing, Cyrus?
Fantastic, bro. So first off, man, we share some roots in a way. I went to school in San Luis Obispo.
Oh, yeah?
And those are your roots, right? Aren't you from there?
Yeah, that's where I'm from. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, it's a fun place, man. That's kind of what taught me to be creative, I guess. Yeah, I love San Luis Obispo. But I lived in San Francisco for a long time, too.
Did you?
Yep.
Oh, that's where I'm at right now, man. So San Luis Obispo, dude, you just basically went to high school there and then bailed right after?
No, I kind of hung around for a while. I was skateboarding, I was always just like going up and down like California, like just crashing on people's couches and stuff.
That's the way to go.
And I started writing for Big Brother. That kind of gave me like, with that I could just do whatever I wanted because I could just send my stories in and all that. And I kind of used San Luis as a base, but I liked it. A lot of people were like, they hate their small town that they're from.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked it. Like I never wanted to move away. I kind of moved away on a whim. Like some friends of mine were moving, and so I just kind of went with them to San Francisco, and then but I never wanted to get out of my town or anything. And then I stayed in San Francisco for a few years, and that was when skating was going off. So in like the '90s, it was just the scene was going off. So that was where it was all centered so much there.
Right. I mean, and it's crazy because San Francisco is still considered to be like one of the hubs for skating, but we have no skate parks here. And we have these vicious hills where you can pretty much kill yourself. It's really gnarly. I never quite understood it, but dude, it is, man. Skaters flock here, bro. But
the hills, yeah. Just skating down the street there, you kind of live on your board in San Francisco.
Definitely. So, but yeah, I mean, now Big Brother is really, without Big Brother, there is no Jackass, there is no Wild Boys. And this publication, I mean, Jeff Tremaine, I believe, was like the editor there, and you met up with Knoxville and Jeff there. How'd you get hooked up with Big Brother? Was it like just a coincidence or just apply?
I got interviewed when I was just being a skater when I was like 18 or something. And I gave some really out-of-hand interview, and I knew, I was actually living in Hawaii at the time. And when the interview came out, I called, and I was really kind of separate from the scene. And I called up somebody, and I was like, they're like, your interview came out, people are freaked out. And because it was at a time in skateboarding when it was really kind of conservative and kind of that gangster style kind of was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't fun at all at that time. And my interview was kind of saying screw off to all that stuff, and and people were just kind of it was just nothing had come out like it ever before. And then I talked to Jeff Tremaine on the phone, and I introduced myself, and he was like, I think his first words were Chris Pontius, you are a very interesting young man. And I was like, yeah, I should write for your magazine. He's like, I think you should too. And then I sent a bunch of stuff in, and from then on, that was when I was 18. And
what a great start to your career, man.
Yeah.
18.
We've worked pretty much my whole, adult life. I've been working in one way or the other with those guys.
And what's funny is, if you Google Chris Pontius and Big Brother, almost all your old stories are online. And so, I've read some of them, and what's funny is you've got this story. There's a gap where there's nothing, and then you wrote this article. I just read this last night. I never read it before, called "Life After Big Brother."
Oh yeah.
And describe to the audience what that is, because I was laughing my ass off, man. It was hilarious.
I got fired from Big Brother because I didn't get on. I was supposed to go on a tour, some trip to Florida, and I decided not to get on the plane. And then I also didn't tell anybody that I wasn't going to do that.
Nice.
And I went up to on some road trip instead, and then I was afraid to call Jeff and say anything. And then a few weeks later, finally I called Jeff, and I talked to him, and I was fired. He fired me, and which I deserved, because it wasn't the first time I'd pulled a move like that.
Yeah.
And so I was how old was I? I was 23 years old, and I'd never worked another job besides Big Brother. So I was I had no education, and I was what am I going to do? So then my first thing was I figured I would go work at Jamba Juice down the street from my house, because I thought I'd eat smoothies every day and just get really healthy.
Is this the Jamba Juice? Because the first Jamba Juice, most people don't know this, was in San Luis Obispo.
It was.
Was it that Jamba Juice?
It wasn't that one. It was actually, this was when I was living in San Francisco.
Oh, there you go. Even
it
more
was
local.
the one on Market. I thought like a lot of like hot chicks would come in and stuff.
Oh yeah.
It turns out it was in the gay part of town.
Oh.
Mostly dudes that came in, and the food wasn't really that healthy anyway. Not to like slag them, but it wasn't like what I expected. And you're only allowed one smoothie a day.
Screw that.
I thought I could just drink smoothies all day long, you know. So like I quit the second day of work. It was Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, and I decided I had to celebrate that instead of going to work.
I hear you.
And then I did a few more jobs. I worked at the Women's Foundation, which is a great experience. This big nonprofit group in San Francisco, and they were so cool, and I learned a lot, and I got to use my writing skills in there to like get people to like give to different causes and stuff, and that was one of the best things ever. And then, but I had to keep going, so I went off to Hawaii again. Finally, they took me back at Big Brother after I wrote my article about telling my story of what happened.
Oh, it's hilarious.
I made it fine without them. I don't need them at all.
Of course not. Screw them. But what's funny too is in the article it shows a picture of you like working at you were like suited up. I forgot where it was. Charles Schwab. Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like that was the second job. That was after I quit Jamba Juice. I got It was weird. I went to some temp agency and they put me in this room with all these other temps and we worked all day long. And then at the end of the day, I guess they selected one temp to like be like a permanent worker, and they selected me, which was really weird. I don't know why. I don't know. Probably my looks, you know.
Or maybe your attitude, man. I mean, you're just fun, dude. You exude fun, bro. That's huge.
Maybe, but I wasn't qualified at all. I didn't know how to use a computer or nothing. And then I became like the assistant to the payroll manager, and it was weird, man. I couldn't believe I was working at Charles Schwab, especially like like it doesn't matter. Like if I would have known that, I would have dropped out of high school a long time ago.
Right.
You don't need any education to get one of these big jobs.
There you go, kids. You heard it from Chris Pontius. And I mean the horse semen thing. I mean, is that the craziest thing you've ever done, or at least the most disgusting?
It was pretty shameful. Yeah.
To say the
least.
Man,
God, it was a big load. It was. Oh, just to get that down my throat.
That's wrong.
You know, I got out of. He gave me a pass to do. I made an agreement with Jeff Tremaine. If I drank that, I was allowed to have one bad day, where I can show up to work drunk or on pills, and I don't get yelled at for it.
Right. And pills are what, like Vikes or something like that, or?
Oh yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Exactly. Dude, you're party boy.
Oh yeah, anything I can get my hands on. Just ask those guys. I think I've sort of used those days up a little bit.
Well, I mean, you're married too and stuff, right? I mean,
yeah, and to get to keep your relationship going strong, you need that.
All the members of Jackass are doing press everywhere. I see less interviews with you than anyone else. Are you considered to be like the most low key of the group, or is that just me missing out?
It might be you missing out. I've done kind of a lot lately. I kind of like being low key and kind of busting out when I feel like it. I got a lot. I live a lot of the time I live in Hawaii in the jungle,
mm-hmm.
and I kind of live outside of that Hollywood thing.
Wild Boyz and Jackass, man. Like traveling in my opinion, gives people perspective and educates you in ways nothing else can. And you're going everywhere in the world. You're experiencing things that no one can even dream of.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anything in your life that can equal or match that? I mean, because I know Jackass is fun, but Wild Boyz to me is almost like a whole nother level.
Wild Boyz. Actually, the new movie is kind of like influenced by Wild Boyz a lot, and when you see it, you'll really see that. I think a lot of people are going to say that. When those last two seasons, the 3 and 4 of Wild Boyz, they aired on MTV2. So a lot of people didn't have MTV2, so they missed it. And those were just like, up until this movie, those were the best things that we'd ever done probably. And Knoxville was starting. He was going on trips with us, and I think Jeff Tremaine was like, you know what, we're getting such good stuff, and
mm-hmm.
and you're going to be going on these trips with us anyway. Why don't we just make a movie? I guess it made sense, and that's how it all happened, was because of that Wild Boyz stuff.
Chris, thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure.
Oh, yeah, awesome. Take care, man.